Two grown men, co-workers, football fans, zero expertise. Mike, George. Since there's nothing else on TV, sit back, relax, and see what happens when two guys who work at the cable company steal 30 minutes of local access time while no one is looking on a channel that nobody's watching. This is the Mike and George Experiment.
It's Friday night!
Whoa!
At 8 o'clock!
Yeah!
This is the Mike and George Experiment. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the lavish studios of the Mike and George Experiment. Mike,
did you have a nice weekend?
I had a great weekend, and I watched a game on Monday night that I loved. So
your Chargers.
My Chargers, yeah, against the
Colts.
Yeah, the Colts that were supposed to come in and mop the floor with us. So it was.
We both picked the Colts, but I've never been so happy to get one wrong. I needed Danny Woodhead to get me just a few points.
Did he?
So I could win the week.
Did you win the week?
Football. I did.
All right.
Thank you, Danny Woodhead.
Now, speaking of Woodheads, what? Why do you have a jellyfish on your T-shirt?
That's an electric jellyfish.
Oh, is it? Is
Yeah.
it? What?
All right, I've got a trivia question. For the first person who answers this correctly,
You'll
what
get
is
absolutely nothing.
No, I've got something for you. What is this
Has
from?
he?
I've never seen so many electric jellyfish in all my life. So if you can tell me what that is, email it into themikeandgeorgeexperiment@gmail.com.
But that's changing soon.
And if you're the first one to answer that correctly, you will win a prize. All
Mike,
right.
I want to mention one of our sponsors real quick
All right.
because we got a great.
Oh, I noticed the new prop here.
A new prop.
A football?
A brand new football. Chet at O'Shea's Aqua Dip. Go long. Go long. Look at that. It's not coming off. Ouch.
That's pretty nice. That's sharp.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I was talking to him. He said that's called
Raid.
Cryptic Raid.
Cryptic Raid.
That's the name of it.
This is a camouflage. He can do this on anything. He can do it on shoes, on
I asked him
automobiles.
if he could do it on George, and he could.
He could. So next week I'll come in with a prosthetic arm.
All right.
Pathetic arm.
So you did watch it. Did you watch any college football?
I did. I watched the Missouri game. The Georgia and Missouri.
Oh,
that was a good one.
That was a good game. That was kind of a surprise.
Oh, very big surprise. I was watching the whole game, and then I had to go out for a minute, and I kept on looking at the score. And
41-26.
Missouri actually won that one, and I just was totally surprised because I thought Georgia was a good team.
But you know what? That's the Southeast Conference.
That's fun.
We brought these two teams in, Texas A&M and Missouri, and I remember when they first did that, and I was like, why those two teams? And then Texas A&M right out of the gate, boom, beats Alabama last year.
Right.
And then Missouri did this to Georgia. Georgia seemed to have a really good team this year.
That's what I heard.
And
number 15 last
I love
week.
the Southeast Conference.
Well, the good news about the Southeast Conference is this: it has 8 teams in the top 25. That's the first time no other conference has ever had that many ranked teams in 1 week in the regular season polls.
Really?
So that's 8,
interesting.
8 in the top 25. That's a record. So
wow.
They should be proud.
I'm sure they are.
Say it loud.
Well, there were some other good games too. Oklahoma and several upsets.
Yes.
Oklahoma.
Every time I looked at the camera.
Lost to Texas.
Yeah, they did.
Texas, who's been having such a hard time this year, it's like, oh wow, this is the end of Mac Brown, and then he goes out and pulls that upset.
What's they call it? The Red River rivalry?
Right.
Yeah.
And I heard some people say on TV that this will probably save his job.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they fell 6 spots. Oklahoma fell 6 spots.
You mentioned Missouri. LSU beat Florida 17-6. Wasn't a terribly exciting game like you hoped for.
And I didn't watch much of that one.
Oregon, Washington. Oregon came out and just spanked Washington 45-24. How about Penn State beating Michigan? I loved that.
I know, and that was another one.
43-40, very exciting game.
What the heck happened there?
They had the whiteout down there.
Did they?
Up there.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, how about Utah beating Stanford. Thank you, Utah.
Yes, that was nice.
That made me feel
nice.
good. 27-21. And then, of course, Alabama beat Kentucky 48-7.
Yeah, they didn't have much trouble.
Defending national champions there.
Yeah, they didn't have much trouble at all.
No, but it was a good weekend for college football.
A lot
Very
of upsets, exciting. Yeah,
Very much so.
We'll come back with the polls.
Right. Come on back with us.
Welcome back to the Mike and George experiment. We're going to go right to the polls.
Let's
Mike,
go
what
right
do you
to the
think?
polls.
The college polls. Alabama,
Number 1.
Oregon,
Number 2.
Clemson,
3.
Ohio State,
Number 4.
Florida State,
Number 5.
LSU,
6.
Texas A&M,
7.
Louisville,
8.
UCLA,
9.
and rounding out the top 10, Miami. And there's some good news for you. Alabama, 55 first place votes, and
Again.
Oregon, 5. So
Just like
they
last
haven't
week.
snuck up on you. So
Okay.
you still got the still have the pride of the college football people.
Yes, thank you, George. Well, we've got some good games coming up this week.
Really?
Too. Yeah, I think every week is going to be good for college football from this point on because every game is so critical. You lose now, you got problems. It's going to be tough to overcome it before the end of the season. So,
All right.
Florida State is traveling to Clemson. Great game because they're both right there. They're number 3 and 5.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
And then Auburn at Texas A&M. Please, Auburn. Go Auburn. Beat Texas A&M. Arkansas at Alabama. Florida at Missouri. Florida's favored in that game.
At Missouri?
Missouri just came out and horsewhipped
some-
Georgia.
That's
And
right.
Florida just came out and lost to LSU.
Well, we ask questions
And
about that
now
all the
Florida's
time.
going into Missouri. Their
And they're
fans are
favored.
going to be all charged up, and they're favored by a field goal. Upset alert there. LSU traveling to Mississippi. UCLA at Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
USC at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That could be
That'd
a
be a
fun
good game.
one. Utah at Arizona. And again, here, Utah just came off of a big victory over
big win.
Stanford,
Big win.
and Arizona's favored over them.
Yeah, what's with these college?
Who knows?
I don't. I personally don't. But
But
I had
that's
a great time last weekend watching the ticker and watching all these ranked teams losing to somebody else. So that was fun.
that
I
was
had a good
fun.
time.
It's fun till you see your team up there losing. Well,
seen Alabama yet.
We had some NFL games this last week
did?
too.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll just tell you. Let's just talk about our picks.
Hey, I think you gained. But I think
And
Matt still is kicking her butts. But
Matt jumped ahead by another game.
Yeah.
Matt went 11-4. So we're not going to do our picks this week because we think Matt is stealing our picks. George went 9-6, and I went 10-5. So overall,
Here we are.
I'm in last place with 58-34. You're at 59-33. Matt is 61-27.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like how he picks, though. I mean, I you can't argue with that. You throw the teams in a hat and pick them out.
Well, it's been working for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
it's been
that's
kicking
what I'm saying.
our butt.
I'm not arguing with it.
It works better than the
I did
logical
not argue.
reason methods that you and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
use.
Well, I like the a lion would eat a dolphin, so
Okay.
that's good.
There were some surprises, at least to me.
Oh,
The Vikings fell to the Panthers, the Texans to the Rams.
yeah,
That one
that's a
was a surprise to the three of us. I thought the Jets were going to come out and beat the Steelers because the Jets look so good and the
and
Steelers
then
look so bad.
and then they go
get it
back
together.
to their old ways.
And who would have thought that the Patriots would have beat the Saints?
That was an exciting game. That last second play by Tom Brady, that was exciting.
Yeah.
It was exciting.
Very exciting.
Last 2 seconds of the game, and they
And he
win
did
the
it
game.
with those rookies.
Yep.
And then Colts beat the Chargers. We talked about that one already.
Well, they did not. The Chargers beat the Colts.
That's what I meant to say.
I'll take offense to that.
So we've got some games this week. We're not going to go through all the picks because we have a lot of material to cover.
Right.
But there are a few key ones. Thursday night's game is
Seattle.
Or will have been Seattle.
And could be
at Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Seattle. How about you?
I'm going to go with Seattle also. I don't think, but I think Seattle has something to prove there. So yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them dominate a little bit, and they're favored by a touchdown. New England is traveling to MetLife Stadium to play the Jets.
Every time I say they're a train wreck, they go out and win. So I'm still going with New England, but I still think the Jets.
This is an important game for the Jets.
I think so.
They want this more than any other game on their schedule.
Oh yeah,
they want
you
this
bet.
one.
You bet.
But we're both picking the Patriots. San Diego
at Hoxonville,
going to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. I'm going to tell you something. Denver was favored by 27 and a half points over the Jaguars. And they didn't beat them by anywhere near that.
They covered that spread, which is a historic spread, evidently. But they covered the spread, so people lost some money on that one. I could see some of the Jaguars missing.
The Broncos did not cover the spread.
No,
the Jaguars
did. That's what I said. Yeah.
I think they're charged up. They didn't look completely terrible.
No, I thought they were going to come out and maybe they gave them a great run for the money. But I thought in the beginning, maybe the first half, that they might win that one. I was actually.
Are you worried about your Chargers?
No,
and the Jaguars?
not at all.
Not at all.
I'm going for San Diego.
All right,
for sure. They had a great game last night. Just a kind of an old school game.
All right, I'm gonna cut you off right there.
Now cut me off.
Come on back after.
Let me tell you a little more about the Chargers.
Welcome back. Okay, next game.
Yes. Houston.
The fantastic Houston Texans are going to the Kansas City Chiefs, who are lighting it up.
They are lighting it up. I have something to say about that later, but I'm going to go for Kansas City.
So am I, but I'll say something about it right
now. Houston needs
now.
that game right now. I mean, you're
Houston never has a team needed a game so bad. But what's the problem with Houston? Their offense. Matt Schaub throwing interceptions, getting sacked, not having any time.
But I don't feel
Kansas
the defense
City
is doing much better
against Oakland Raiders.
Right.
They got 3 sacks right out of the gate.
Right.
But they had like an ungodly number of sacks. Didn't they have like 10 sacks?
Yeah, it was
a
pretty smash mouth game.
They got a touchdown on defense.
Right. They've got the number one defense.
Their fantasy defense, who was on my bench this weekend. I didn't use them. I used the Broncos defense. Still managed to pull it off, but they got 38 points.
Yeah, but we do not gamble. He's just kind of hypothetical here. Hypothetical. Yeah.
No gambling.
He's hypothetical.
All right, so we both take Kansas City.
Yeah, we take Kansas City on that one.
Chicago's going into
Chicago.
Landover, Maryland, play the Washington Redskins.
Going to your team.
Washington's favored in this game by 1 point.
Well, then that's like kissing your sister, for God's sakes. Okay. Well, I'm personally not
Better
picking
than kissing
Washington.
Your brother.
Well, speak for yourself.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Are you taking Chicago?
Chicago.
That's 2 for Chicago.
Okay.
I'm glad Washington's favored. Robert Griffin.
Actually, he's been looking better.
He has been looking better.
The team hasn't, though.
I just think that his confidence is definitely shaken because here he's doing what he's been good at, but nothing positive.
Yeah, he's getting better, but the team isn't getting better. That's the problem.
Dallas is playing Philadelphia.
Philly.
This is probably the game of the week for me.
Okay, I am going for no. I'm not going for any game of the week. I don't think any of them are that lofty. But I am going for Dallas.
So am I. That's my upset of the week.
And that is my upset.
My upset of the week and my game of the week is Philadelphia is favored by 2.5 points.
Sheesh.
And I think I heard them announce today that Michael Vick was going to be playing, so I don't think they'll
So
win.
we look for lots of.
So you look for an injury by about midway through the second quarter.
Exactly. Then we'll have somebody else coming in.
But Tony Romo, he's finally getting some positive
He is.
props, and he deserves them.
I like Tony. I just he's a
like
choker.
Tony.
I like Tony. He's a choker.
All right, let's jump down to Sunday night. Actually, Dallas-Philly is not the game of the week. This is the game of the week, and here's why.
Why?
Denver is going into Indianapolis where they cut Peyton Manning to make room for Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck.
And here we go. Peyton Manning is lighting it up. Last year went to the playoffs. This year, undefeated.
Super Bowl bound. Who
Going
knows?
into Indianapolis.
Indy. I'm going for Denver.
So am I.
I don't think. But last night's game.
Could this be the end of their run, though? No?
No, I don't think so.
No chance.
I don't think Indianapolis is a good enough team to do that.
Von Miller will be back on defense.
Exactly. Von Miller's coming back. I don't see it. I don't see Denver. It may be a close game, but I don't see Denver losing that.
I think Denver lights it up.
And I think
Peyton Manning's going to go in there, and he's got far too much class to say so. But I think he wants to kick the crap out of Indianapolis.
And he should. And I think he'll get a great reception by the fans there in Indianapolis. I think he will. He'll get a standing ovation.
All right, I'm just going to throw in one more, the Monday night game.
Okay.
Minnesota is going to the Giants. The reason I'm talking about this is a hard game to pick. Because
it is. It really is.
The Giants have never struggled as hard as they are right now. But they're favored by 3.5 points.
Are they? Well, I picked the Giants in that one.
I did too.
In a low-scoring affair. But I do pick the Giants. Minnesota.
How many points did you pick it?
37.
I took it at 47.
Well, okay, and that's still a low-scoring game. But I'm
20-17. Figure Adrian Peterson will be running.
Yeah. He's looked better the last couple of weeks, so I think he's going to be all right.
All right. Look, we'll come back after these messages. Hope you'll join us.
We'll talk about some other things.
Welcome back, George. We got to cover Ava's picks.
Oh, and we will. Ava. Chargers over Jags, Chiefs over Texans, Alabama over Arkansas, FSU over Clemson, and she's got a couple upsets, Titans over 49ers. Wow. Ole Miss over LSU. Yep, she goes out on a limb there.
Thanks, Ava.
Thanks,
Ava. Appreciate it.
You're doing well again this year.
All right, it's time for George's True-False Shootout.
Okay, we're going to do George's True-False Shootout.
Yeah, we are.
Here's my first one. Did you announce that, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. The Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs can win the division.
Can they?
Well, I'm making a statement.
It's within reach.
They can win the division. It is within reach. But what is that your whole... Because I got a couple things I could add to that. But,
Go ahead.
Well, they have beaten the Jaguars, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Titans, and Raiders, who are a combined 11-25. So maybe.
So your answer is no.
Yeah, maybe they're not as lustrous.
They are exciting to watch.
They are exciting to watch.
I want them to put up a fight. I want them to make it close. I want more discussion about that. I want more discussion about that.
And this week, I think the Texan game is a trap game for them.
Okay.
So they got to be careful. They got to be careful. They got to be careful.
All right.
All right. Here's pet peeve of the week. This somersaulting into the end zone trend is getting silly. And injury. I mean, injuries. Who knows what could
Yeah,
happen?
you could break your neck doing that.
As a matter of fact, one of the coaches has said, period, you guys aren't going to do that.
All right, let me just cut you off right there because we're shooting this on a Tuesday. It's not going to air till Friday, but I know that today I saw a headline that said, Commissioner says no more somersaults in the end.
The commissioner said it.
Yeah.
Okay, then
So,
they won't pay any
it's
attention
over.
to that then.
It's
okay.
over.
All right. And last but not least, it's only mid-October, but it looks like the parity-loving NFL is a lock this year to get those 5 or 6 new playoff teams it loves to boast about and wish for every year. Because we've got playoff teams last year, Houston, Atlanta, Washington, Minnesota, and Baltimore, all kind of taking a dump.
All out of the way.
No pun intended. Yes.
They're all out of the way.
Yeah, they're all out of the way.
Safely?
So
Okay.
it'll be exciting because we'll have new teams this year for
Well,
one
we
of the
will.
first times. So I'm looking
because
forward to that.
We were talking about if the playoffs occurred today,
Yes.
your
would be there?
your
be
NFC
there?
teams would be Dallas, Philadelphia, Detroit, Chicago, New Orleans, Seattle, San Francisco.
Right. Right. Now who let's see.
Seattle?
I'd have to
New
say
Orleans?
Seattle. I have to say Seattle. New Orleans got a little bit.
Your AFC teams are the Patriots, the Bengals, Colts,
the Broncos.
Kansas City, and Denver.
Uh-huh.
Both 6-0 right now.
They are.
And I'd just say Denver.
That's what I'm going to
the
say.
AFC.
So we're looking at Denver and Seattle and pretty much in the Super Bowl then.
Or Denver and New Orleans. Right?
yeah.
Denver and San
I'm
Francisco?
going to say, I'm saying Seattle. I'll go with Seattle.
I'll go with
I'm good with
Seattle.
that.
I'll go with you on that.
I do want to make one quick comment.
Go.
How embarrassing it was when the Texas fans cheered Matt Schaub's injury last weekend. He's not, quit acting like this guy is the reason the team stinks. He's not. The defense is pretty, they're all at fault.
I didn't see the game.
Right.
I wasn't on that when it happened. I heard all the commentary Monday and Tuesday about it, and they said that there was a wave going around. And I don't think that anybody really wishes any ill will to any player on that field.
Yeah. I hope not.
I just think it seems like maybe, it's like a 3-ring circus when you go to a football game.
Right.
There's 50,
Exactly.
70, 100,000 people there. They're maybe not necessarily looking at what's going on. They might be focused on something other than what the attention is that the sportscasters are talking about.
Liquor.
If the fans are cheering and if there's a wave going around, it's not necessarily. Okay. I mean, there's 100,000 other people there that could have something else going on. You don't know. Somebody might have just proposed.
That's a possibility.
And she accepted.
It could be.
We don't
Could
know.
be.
They blew it out of proportion a while back when somebody was injured and people were writing in saying, I was at the game. People weren't, people in our section weren't quite aware of what was going on.
Sure.
The media is just, and I don't know if you classify us as part of the media, but it just seems like they try to create controversy.
Yes.
People in Houston are relatively good people. Hey, we got a couple emails.
Okay, man, let's go.
Christopher writes, the Chargers record goes as follows. Loss, win, loss, win, loss. This week, the Chargers will beat the Colts. Well, obviously, we got that a few days ago. The bad news is, though, you're playing the Jaguars next, and that pattern says L next, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Mike or George, Penn State season is only half finished, but I get the sense we're in the midst of a 3-week period, including the one we just played, to determine how the Nittany Lions will perform the rest of the fall and beyond. When you consider the future of the program, including the NCAA sanctions, and Bill O'Brien, will O'Brien be tempted to leave for the NFL? Interesting thought. Yeah, I think any coach would be tempted if confronted.
I think so too.
But he's done so much there. I just don't know.
And I think the future looks bright because they're backing up on a little bit of the things that they've done against Penn.
Right.
So
we're going to save the rest of these for next show because we're out of time. We want to thank you for tuning in. We want to wish you a great football week. We want to thank our sponsors for making the show possible.
Chet, we're making a show.
I can't wait to punt this thing. Have a great football weekend,
can't wait
everybody.
To punt. Punt this thing. Okay, are we done? I thought you were going to throw it at the camera.
This thing's great. I want to go out in the front yard and punch that thing as hard as I can.
Yeah.
That looks so cool.
And see how this bit. God, we need an hour show. Every time we think we've got everything we.
I'm just gonna have to bleep out when we go.
Yeah. Oh, this was still on then. Okay.